agenda for today, in the remaining maybe the next 45 minutes, what I wanted to do was share basically the social media facts and trends, and given this is a fast-moving space, I'd like to share some of the recent facts through a series of surveys that both we conducted, and then survey and other data that's from third-party sources. And then finally really jump into the meat of the presentation or the workshop, and which is how, through a series of steps, a company can use Facebook as an effective mechanism to source and hire talent. And the focus on Facebook is primarily because that's the topic, and our belief and philosophy is that Facebook is one of the elements, along with other elements, that's needed to create a complete, holistic talent sourcing strategy. So why is Facebook relevant? And I think all of us are very familiar. And if you look at all the market data, more and more companies and more individuals especially are using Facebook as a way to find jobs. And one big reason to include Facebook in the talent strategy or talent sourcing strategy is the fact sheer scale of Facebook. And this is data from just for India. And as of the last count, Facebook had about 70 million profiles in India, which is about 70–80% of all internet users. And LinkedIn had about 18 to 20 million profiles. And when you break it down by age segment, and looking at the segment from 18 to 34 years, there are about 40 million more profiles in prime hiring age in Facebook compared to LinkedIn or leading job boards. And so, not surprising, more and more companies are looking to bring Facebook into their talent strategy. We recently conducted a survey, and this is data collected from about over 7,000 respondents in India. 85% of the job seekers are at least on one social networking account. However, 60% of job seekers, 6 out of every 10, only have a Facebook account. 30% have Facebook and LinkedIn, and only 10% have LinkedIn. So that's another reason why to incorporate Facebook along with LinkedIn and a job board in the talent strategy. Where it gets really interesting is and how companies can start reaching out to a large segment of talent that perhaps is not possible to reach through a traditional job board or through LinkedIn. Is the fact that when people were asked which particular social media platform would they be likely to use for their next job search, about 2 out of every 3 are more likely to use Facebook over LinkedIn in their next job search. And it kind of sounds intuitive, because when we start looking for a job, the first thing we do is we really start talking to the people who are closest to us. And recently, and this is a very recent study, and the detailed report is on MyParichay Facebook page. This is a study that was done by Carnegie Mellon.
Ranjan, hi. Hi, Ranjan. Just quick thing. Can you go on full screen mode? I think we're looking at a split screen of your presentation.
Okay. Hold on a second. Okay, what about now?
We still have a split screen on either sides. Not sure why that is.
Okay. What about now?
Okay, yeah, this is good. Yeah, this is perfect, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is a recent study that was done by Carnegie Mellon, and it really looked at people in terms of their interaction with other people on primarily two social media platforms, LinkedIn and Facebook. And not surprisingly, close friends and family are 5 times more likely to help a person find a job than a professional or social acquaintance. And it's not surprising because once you are talking, your family and close friends, there is a much stronger sense of social obligation to help you find a job. And so the fact that Facebook, and especially your close acquaintances on Facebook, tend to be a much more powerful source of finding friends. And on the reverse side, from the employers that are coming from somebody's Facebook friend list tends to be a group of people that the employer will tend to know more than somebody who's a mere professional acquaintance. One of the things that MyParichay we have been tracking over the last 12 months, and a little bit more than 12 months now, we have been tracking the Facebook and LinkedIn presence of the top 300 employers in India. And this study is still not published. We are still in the process of analyzing the data. But here is some preliminary data we have. So over the last 12 months, we have seen a steady increase in the number of companies that use Facebook for branding. And out of the top 300 employers, roughly about 52% now have an official Facebook page. And as you can see, just about a year ago, that number was just 89. Similarly, there has been a 100% increase in the number of companies that use Facebook for hiring. And again, if you look at the number of companies that had a career page or a job tab on Facebook, that number has gone from about 16 to about 32. And again, you can see the fan base that used to average for the career page or the job tab was about 7,000 per page, is now close to about 28,000. And then you have some employers that have a really large fan base on their career pages. So not surprising that the 20 companies are really in the IT and ITES space that are very aggressively using Facebook for hiring. So now looking at this piece of information, for an employer, I think it's very important to bring Facebook into their strategy. Now, the product that's been designed is not just to take advantage of Facebook, but really what we call a meta network approach, which means that we need to make sure that the candidate coming to an employer social media page should be able to leverage both their LinkedIn and their Facebook presence. So as we'll go through the presentation and the demos, you will see how we achieve that. Underlying the design of the product and the service that we have developed with Shine, the key pieces behind that is that whenever you touch a candidate, whether the candidate is coming to a job posting on Shine or is coming to a Facebook page that you have put together and forwarded by MyParichay, or you are doing an email blast using MyParichay, we want to make sure that you're not just getting the candidate, but along with the candidate, you're getting who else in the candidate's network is like the candidate. So the basic approach being, if you have a low-fit candidate, the chances are most people in this person's network will be low-fit. And however, there will always be some high-fit and some medium-fit candidates. Now that changes as you go towards medium-fit. You will tend to see some more high-fit candidates. And we have seen that whether, for example, you're in the BPO industry looking to hire voice people, the person who has a good voice, who is a good voice candidate, will tend to have more people in his or her cohort that are good voice people. If you're looking for salespeople, they will tend to have in their network people who are other salespeople. If you're looking for a technical architect, the chances are their cohort will have more software and technical architects. And similarly, a high-fit candidate, if you're looking for a technical architect from a top school or a top college, the chances are this person's Facebook network or perhaps their LinkedIn network will tend to have more people like from a similar background. So if you look at your funnel, traditional funnel, you would have low fit candidates, some medium fit candidates, and even a few good fit candidates. The advantage of a social tool like this is when you look at the good fit candidate, you're not only just looking, the poor fit candidate, you're not only looking at the poor fit candidate, but you are trying to find out where are some good fit candidates in the network. Similarly, as you go to a medium fit, the number of good fit candidates increase. And finally, a handful of good fit candidates you have, their network will have a much larger segment. So when you aggregate this funnel, now you have a much larger, richer set of talent to tap into and engage with them. So the basic philosophy being that the best way to find people is to get a referral. And historically, referral has only been through employees. What effectively social platforms are doing is you are extending referrals to various touch points for the candidate, starting from a job board to obviously the employees. And then finally, each candidate is a source of other candidate referrals. And that's effectively what the platform achieves. And as Guru mentioned initially, and I'll show that in the demo later on, today, for example, if you go on to Shine, you are not only, you have a job posted. The candidate not only sees your job, but the candidate, if they want, will be able to refer themselves through an employee, where your employee effectively ends up being an effective filter. So what you're trying to do is if you're looking for pure applicants, there tends to be a fairly large amount of poor mixed candidates. But candidates that are getting through a filter, through another screening, the quality tends to be higher, which all of us have seen that in the past. So let me jump into the various steps one needs to do to leverage Facebook. So the first step is really to create a Facebook career page. And one of the discussions that I have heard often is, should a company have a separate career Facebook page, or they should have a combined corporate Facebook page with job postings there? And in fact, the emerging best practice is to keep a separate career Facebook page that is separate from the corporate page. And the basic philosophy behind this is relatively simple. The purpose of a career page on Facebook is different than a corporate page on Facebook. The one is designed to build a talent community. The other is really to build a customer prospect community. And the method of communication, the content that you communicate, and how you engage with them are distinctly different. If you try to merge them, what you end up happening is you end up destroying the community that you're trying to build. Because one of the top reasons why people would unlike your Facebook page is if they see too many posts, too many frequent posts. And if you're trying to combine both your marketing message and your talent-related message, you are probably going to swamp the person who has liked your page with content and material that will just crowd his wall. And that's another big reason why people would unlike your page. And the last part is content can become boring and repetitive. So there are people who go and like a corporate page because maybe there is a rebate going on or there is some kind of a raffle going on. But people may like a talent page because they ultimately want to know more about the company from its culture, from its HR culture point of view, what other people are talking about the company in terms of an employee-employer relationship. So let me get into a few examples of different kind of pages. So this is a Facebook page of Shine. And as you can see, a company, when they create a Facebook page, what Facebook allows you to do is have some key tabs here. And one of these tabs you can power through MyParichay, and it basically creates a full-fledged career microsite for you. And there are various advantages for it. The other is Shine is able to, because of its media capabilities, keep its page very fresh with relevant content, and then which becomes interesting and relevant to people who are in the job market. Now, the other advantages for Facebook pages, it really comes like a full-fledged website. So, for example, here is another Facebook page of a company that focuses on social hiring. And as you can see, there is obviously the job micro tab, which I'll deep dive into later. And the other advantage is, if you are the administrator of the page, people coming to your page can actually message you. And this message section is not seen by anybody else other than the person who is the administrator of the page. And this becomes a great way to start engaging with the talent community. And then the talent community on its own can start engaging with the company. And as you can see, these posts are these posts can be seen by anyone who comes to this page. And this is where potential candidates can really see what is being discussed about the company. Now I'll share an example of another page where you can see the power of that message area. So here is, for example, various people who have come on HT Media's webpage, and they are sharing their own experiences about working at HT Media. And as you can see, there is one gentleman here who basically writes he has just joined HT Media and he's very excited about it. And the fact that the moment he posts this, there are 244 people who have liked it, they have congratulated him. It's a great way to promote your employer brand. So that's the starting place in terms of a Facebook strategy, is to have a Facebook page that ideally is focused on the employer brand and employment and job-related issues versus clubbing it with a general talent page where the chances are you're going to, instead of building a community, at least a candidate talent community, you may end up people unliking your page. So the next step is to basically start engaging with the community. And as I shared with you, you have your ability to engage with the community through the messages, through posts, and again through content. So the key part again is, if you want to engage with the community, especially the community is looking for relevant, fresh, valuable information that is related to their career and a career as it relates to the company. So working with a professional media company that can manage the content of the career page and do it in a way that will allow you to grow, manage, and harvest the value of the community is important. And I'll get into some more details later in the presentation. The third part is the need to install a career tab. And there is a reason why you need to have a structured section on your Facebook career page, which is like a job microsite. And so that the advantages of that are very obvious rather than just taking URLs from your ATS or from a job board and pasting it in your Facebook page isn't the most effective way for candidates that are coming to your page to see those. First of all, those are very transient. So when you post something, it will basically get buried when the next post comes in. So it's really important that first to create a career tab. First of all, it provides the ease of job posting and response tracking. So when a recruiter, for example, posts a job, and if it's powered by software, then the job is posted on an ATS, or the job could be posted on Shine, and it will automatically show up on your Facebook page. And then as the responses are coming in, you need a mechanism to capture the responses coming to your Facebook page from a job board or your employer referral, and ideally you would like to aggregate it to a single response page. So that's one of the advantages of having a career tab. And in this case, the examples I'll share with you are those career tabs that are powered by MyParichay and Shine. The second is it provides the convenience and structured interaction for the prospective candidate. So a candidate, when it comes to your Facebook page, can search for jobs by location, by skills, etc. Versus without the career tab, it would be hard for the candidate to look for a job. The third advantage is products like MyParichay that power a career tab. The candidate not only can apply for a job, but it gives the candidate the ability to look for connections that this person may have through their Facebook network, friends or mutual friends, or through their LinkedIn network. And it basically becomes a great filter for the HR, so that before they look at people who are applying to your Facebook page, they are looking at people who came to your Facebook page, end up finding a connection in the company, and then forward the resume to the connection, who is probably in a better position to say whether this candidate would be a fit or not. The fourth advantage is it allows the candidate to refer their friends. And there are companies that today offer referral incentives, either in terms of vouchers, raffles, or even hard cash for successful referrals that come through their Facebook page, through people who are not employees of the company. And the last part is when you post a job using Shine or MyParichay, your job is being immediately broadcasted to your social network, which tends to be an appropriate cohort in most cases. So that's really the advantage of having a career tab. And let me share with you what I call the evolution in how to effectively use job posting on a Facebook page. Just bear with me for a second. So here is an example, and I'm just picking some companies that have Facebook presence, and let me share. None of this is necessarily right or wrong, as much as one is relatively a traditional way of doing things, which really doesn't give you the advantage of the power of social media. And it effectively is like putting a new paint on an old car. So here is a Facebook page of a company, and what this company has done is taken a job posting from a job board and cut and pasted the URL on this page. Now, when a candidate comes to this page, there is no way for the candidate to search for a job. And if the jobs are posted like these, so when the candidate comes in, the moment they click on this, they are effectively taken out of Facebook, which clearly is very annoying to the candidate. But more importantly, At this point, the entire value of leverage of the candidate's network is no longer available to this particular company. And the last part is that the company would normally pay this job board to drive traffic for them. Here what is happening is the company is actually driving traffic to the job board. So it really is not the most effective, in fact, a fairly ineffective way to run a career page. Uh, Let me share with you another site, and this is a step in the right direction. Now here they do have a job tab, and at the same time they have taken URLs from an ATS and posted it on their Facebook page. Now the challenge with something like this is when the candidate comes and clicks on this, at this point again the candidate is being taken away from the environment, their Facebook environment. And that is something most candidates would like to, if they are in Facebook, would like to complete the entire interaction within Facebook. And the more important part is when the candidate does apply, you as an employer should be able to look into the social network or the professional network of that candidate to look for more candidates. So this is another example where the person has been taken out from that environment. Now, let me share with you an example of so here is HD Media, and this is their employer branding page, and this is where they want to attract, share more about HD Media, who they are as a company, what their values are, and so as you can see, this is all information that would be relevant to any candidate that is trying to understand more about the company. However, the next stage is they may be interested in applying for some jobs. Now, at this point, these are the jobs that have been posted, and as I indicated, it can be posted through Shine, or it could be posted through MyParichay. Either way, these jobs are available, and when somebody comes to the site, they can go ahead and say, I'm looking for a job in Delhi, and let's say I'm looking for a job in sales. So now when I do a search, these are the 6 jobs that come in. And as a candidate, when I click on one of them, what MyParichay does at this point is gives an entire job description. The next thing it has done is it has actually looked into my social network, in this case Facebook, and I haven't linked my LinkedIn to this, and I'll share with you how a candidate can link their LinkedIn. And at which point these are all my inside connections in this company. And some of them are my direct friends, so I can basically, if I want, send my resume directly to Rajeshwar. And MyParichay basically pulls the basic information from Facebook. It allows me to upload a resume, and once I upload it, it stays there, and I can basically I hit continue, and at this point, it would send a Facebook message to Rajeshwar. And Rajeshwar would see that message very similar to his Facebook message will light up, and he would be seeing something like, let me share with you. Not sure why. Let me move on to.
So while Ranjan is doing that, I'd request everybody to please post any of your questions and clarifications that you have in the chat box available for yourselves, and we'll take these questions towards the end of the webinar. Meanwhile, I do want to take a quick minute to thank everyone to continue to stay with us despite the confusion we've been having. And yeah, so we'll look forward to seeing your questions and answering them towards the end of the webinar. Thanks.
As you saw, when I came to this page, I clicked on one of these jobs, and it basically asked me to log into, if I'm not logged into Facebook, it basically asked me to log into Facebook. And at this point, it is showing all my connections in this company. It does show the recruiter that has posted the job, and I can either directly apply, I can save the job, I can share the job, and I can either start a conversation with somebody inside the company and then decide to upload my resume, send it to, and what this will do is it will create a dialog box, and I can ask Rajeshwar, I'm interested in this particular job, and when I send it, what happens is this doesn't go into Rajeshwar's email, it ends up on Rajeshwar's Facebook page. And it doesn't, so Rajeshwar at some point, his Facebook message will light up, and it will appear something like, show an example here. Bear with me for a second. Okay. So I can get into Rajeshwar, so let me just see I can get that into my own. So let me send it to myself, and I'll show you what it appears on the other end to Rajeshwar if this was sent to Rajeshwar. So what would happen at this point is my message box should light up, and so I now have one message, and so as you can see, this is the message that came in, and it reads something like this. So now, once I click on it, it says Ranjan would like to discuss a job opening at your company. I can open the request. It goes on, Rajeshwar Mukhopadhyay, Ranjan Sinha is interested in working at HT Media. He'd like to start a discussion. Here is his attached resume. So this is the experience that Rajeshwar is getting. Now Rajeshwar can decide, we basically explain how has he gotten the message, etc. And he can acknowledge it, and then if he decides, he can forward it to HR, or he can look at the full job description. The second thing, when people come to HT Media's Facebook page, the candidate may want to clearly can apply. The candidate may be interested in referring some candidates, and in which case the system will go and try to see that here is one person that they believe can be referred for this job, and you can hit refer, and it will go into the recruiter's back-end box. So that's the evolution of from where you go from cutting and pasting a URL to having a job tab that is very rich and complete. Now, let me share with you what happens to the candidate and why this is important to have your Facebook tab and Facebook website powered by something like Shine or MyParichay. This is basically the application that the candidate has. And once you post your job through Shine or through MyParichay, all jobs that exist, the candidate is now able to search on it in Facebook as you are posting these jobs. It doesn't even have to come to your Facebook page. They will become available to him when he is in Facebook, irrespective of coming to your Facebook page. So I will, for example, let's say I want to look for a technical architect, let's say. So the candidate is looking for jobs for a technical architect, and he sees a bunch of jobs. Now, in this case, the software not only pulls out all the jobs that are technical architect jobs, but at the same time, it is showing you the jobs that this candidate, in this case it's me, I am most connected to. And as you can see in companies where I don't have connections, it says you can turn on LinkedIn for more connections. So effectively, the moment you're using a tool like this, your jobs are not only becoming available to people on Facebook without even coming to your Facebook page, simultaneously it is encouraging them to find inside connections, and they end up being quality employee referrals for you. So I'm going to turn in my LinkedIn connection. It says, okay, allow access. And now what MyParichay is going to do, it will go back and it is rebuilding my connections, not just with Facebook, but as you can see now, it has brought in all my LinkedIn connections. And I can go in and at CSS Corp, I can click on it. And now it has all the various connections I have. I have mutual friends. And as you scroll down, there are the other LinkedIn friends at this point. So that's the power of having a Facebook strategy that is powered by MyParichay and Shine. And let me go to what is happening on Shine at this point. So the job is not only posted on your Facebook career tab, it's available through the MyParichay app, but at the same time, it is now available on Shine. And let's say I'm going to click on jobs here, and I am a candidate on Shine. I'm looking for jobs, and what's happening at this point is the Shine is now telling me that at Yahoo I have about 24 friends, and if I want, I can apply directly. I can register and apply, or I may decide, as I shared with you, I may decide to directly get introduced to somebody within Yahoo and get my resume through the person. And effectively is a way to reduce the friction that exists on both sides between the job seeker and an employer. On the flip side, again, where the jobs are posted, when you post the jobs automatically get posted not only on the career tab, Facebook career tab, Shine, but you can post, it automatically gets posted onto LinkedIn and broadcast through Twitter. So that's the job posting side of this application. So let me keep rolling here. So I talked about installing the career tab, making sure you're increasing your referrals and you're allowing your jobs to be broadcasted. Now here is how you would post a job, either through Shine or through MyParichay. So when you post the job here, this is how the job gets posted. And the moment you post it, it immediately triggers an open graph action through Facebook, where your immediate Facebook network and your LinkedIn network becomes aware of the fact that you are looking for someone. So that becomes a very powerful mechanism. If you have about 200 friends on Facebook and let's say 200 friends on LinkedIn, and if you're a salesperson or a sales manager looking for other sales people, you immediately probably have 400 people now that became aware that you are looking to hire salespeople. Now, the other advantage is as these jobs are getting posted, so they are posted on the Facebook page, they are posted on Shine, they are posted on LinkedIn, the HR manager gets a weekly report giving him a quick summary of what is the level of social activity that is happening. So the jobs have been posted, how many applications have been received. The system has the ability that when you share your link on LinkedIn, one of the things MyParichay does is it will keep the person on LinkedIn and will track how much leads came through your LinkedIn sharing, your Twitter sharing, your Facebook sharing, so that you are getting a sense of what the effectiveness is versus merely just sharing some URLs. The next step is to build a talent pipeline by searching the professionals on Facebook. So that's the next step. You have a Facebook page, you're engaging, you're sharing content, you're building content, you have a community, you've created a career tab. The next step is when people apply, or you may just want to search for professionals on Facebook. And again, you do that through MyParichay. Let me share with you how you achieve that. So as a recruiter, you will basically have a MyParichay app, and this application does have the ability for you to search through, and in this case, these are basically professionals who are on Facebook, and this is a live count. So at this point, there are about 14,700,000 professionals that you can search, and when you post a job, you effectively can make it visible to the right audience. So let me share with you how we can do a search. Let's say again, I'm going to use technical architect. Let's say I'm looking for technical architects. I do a search. It basically brings in, there are 746 profiles available. Now the advantage of something like this is it is not only telling me the various technical architects that are there, but it tells me who their connections are, and I can either save the person as a recruiter into a particular job folder that I have posted, or I may just decide to create a community. At this point, I'm not looking immediately for, so I can create a new folder and start saving technical architects. I can go ahead and send a message directly, or the other interesting part is I can go and see who are Pranil's other connections at this point, and then tap into them. And this again works when you're doing an email blast through MyParichay. When people respond, you're not just getting the candidate, but you are now getting all of candidates' network that you can search through. So I can send Pranil a message, and a similar message box will pop up. And this message, instead of going to his Gmail, which probably may end up in spam in a normal communication, will actually light up his Facebook message, whether it's on his mobile phone or his laptop. Now, I want to look through Pranil's connections. So now I want to see who can I look for other technical architects, or maybe other software engineers, or maybe I'm looking for people, let's say, are there people at Wipro that Pranil knows? And at this point, these are his friends and friends of friends that come up that Pranil knows at this point who are at Wipro. Or I may just want to look for some more technical architects. In Pranil's network, and it will try to bring up some more technical architects at this point. So that's how you can basically power your search, and you can search through Facebook, which is the next step of any talent strategy. One of the things that, and here are some basic functions where you can post a job if you want, and this is how you create a career tab in case somebody is interested in doing that. Now, the next step in terms of a Facebook strategy is how do you increase the awareness. So you have gone in, and now you have been able to search. You're building a talent pipeline by searching professionals on Facebook. And one of the ancillary advantages of MyParichay is there are times on LinkedIn where you may or may not be able to directly contact the person. All those 14 million profiles on Facebook, you can directly message them. Now, the other part is how do you increase awareness of your jobs, and if you are doing any kind of candidate drives using Facebook's ad capability. And again, let me share with you, once you have your career tab set up, career tab of a company. So you may want to take a particular job and you may want to advertise that job. And the best way to do this is you can take this URL and using Facebook's ad manager, you can go ahead and create an ad just for this particular job. You can go in, paste it. And at this point, you can type in any additional text you want here. You can change the headline. You can upload a different image if you want, maybe your company corporate image. And then you can start targeting these ads based on various parameters. You can target them by age. You can go ahead and target them by various custom audience. And custom audience, basically what it allows you to do is, let's say you have in your ATS 50,000 name of, let's say, software people or salespeople. You can actually upload that into Facebook and target. What MyParichay Facebook will do for you, it will tell you how many of these 50,000 people in your ATS, what is their corresponding Facebook ID, and you can target ads to those 50,000. So rather than doing an email blast, which may go into Gmail spam, you can say, I only want to show my ads to those 50,000. And then from there, you can do fairly elaborate amount of targeting based on college, workplace. You can go in and say, I am looking for targeting people from, I'm just picking a company name here, and it will basically bring it down to 57,600 people who are in this age who are working at Wipro, and those ads will only be shown to them. And so we are kind of running out of time here. So basically, to have a comprehensive Facebook strategy, you need to have a Facebook page. You need to have a tool or an application or a platform like MyParichay that allows you to create a career tab, allows you to build a talent pipeline by searching, allows you to do a social email blast, as I call it, allows you to increase awareness of your jobs. And the last but probably the most important part is that you do need to have a very professional, vigilant management of your Facebook page and ads. And that's where the partnership with HT Media and Shine becomes compelling, because Shine would provide you the service of not only posting the job onto Shine and getting the traffic through the web, making sure all the responses, whether they are coming from the job board or Facebook page or email blast, coming to a central location. But at the same time, they would be able to provide the media content to ensure your community is being built in the right way and is being built effectively. And so these are the basic areas where Shine brings immense value in terms of building the page, connecting with the people, engaging with the audience, and then through content and media marketing, influencing it. Some of the common updates that Shine manages between Shine, your company website, and the Facebook page, they could bring media content on life, trending today, work-life balance, etc. So I will stop at this point and basically take any questions, uh, and we would be glad to do a more one-on-one session if anybody is interested, and they can send Guru an email, and uh, we will we will connect with you.
Great.
So
Thanks
Guru,
for that.
I think that's
Yeah, thanks for that, Ranjan. I do have a few questions here that we can take. We've got quite a few questions, but I'll prioritize and have a few questions answered here. So first of the questions here is how do I install MyParichay tab on our career page?
okay. So there are two ways sorry. There are two ways to do that. One is you can do it through Shine. So you can have a Shine login, and the Shine login will allow you to not only post a job in Shine, but through that you can create a career tab. The other is you can create a career tab through MyParichay application itself. So let me share with you how we do that. So once you install MyParichay app, there is an area here that it says see for yourself. This is what we call the corporate plugin. And once you click here, it basically says select your company page. And if you have created a page and you are the administrator of the page, it will automatically know which page you are administering. And if you're administering more than one page, it will ask which page would you like this to be installed on. I'm just going to take a sample page here and say add a page tab. And what this is going to do is say, okay, what is the company that you would like to do? What is your email? If you want, you can upload a banner, that image that you would like to see on that career tab. And then when you say next, it basically tells you, would you like to post it on any other Facebook page? Would you like your jobs to be broadcast through Twitter? And which LinkedIn account would you like it to be posted at? And basically when you say save and finish, it would go ahead, and at this point on Ganasha page, there should be a job tab already created. So it's probably, let's see. So as you see, there is a job tab that has been installed, and if you want, you can move it up and bring it as one of the more prominent pages. So it's really a very simple three-step process to set this up. And then you can basically go in, and if you're posting your job through Shine, it will get posted there. Or if you want, you can directly post the job through MyParichay. So here is the post a job capability, and if you post the job, I can type in the target companies, and it will show up on your.
And so this will show up on Gunasha page, right?
I'm sorry?
This will show up on Gunasha's page. That's where the company
Well,
is.
it will show up on whichever page you are the administrator of.
And will MyParichay users also be able to search for this job and be able to apply it while they're searching on MyParichay? Because MyParichay also has a huge network, I guess. So that's also another.
So all jobs, in fact, one of the things that MyParichay does is all jobs posted on Shine or any other job board or a company website, we basically aggregate it, or post it on MyParichay is aggregated. So, for example, I am currently, let's say, a candidate. I can set my job alert setting and say I'm looking for sales job in Bangalore, and that's my account setting. I will not only get a weekly update, but as a candidate, every time I go looking for recommended jobs, I'm not only just looking for jobs that are sales in Bangalore, but it is bringing up the jobs I am most connected to, either through Facebook or through LinkedIn. And so here is a Goldman Sachs job that may not have been posted through Shine or may not have been posted through MyParichay, and in this case, probably not, but it is still giving distribution to that job and all the connections. and then again all the advantages of leveraging the employee base to start getting higher quality referral. So it's fundamentally, the one core thing this does is, when you tend to get applications through a website or other places, you do tend to get a lot of junk. Through this process, you are effectively encouraging people to look for a connection, hopefully get a little bit more sense about the company and hopefully about the candidate before it lands on the recruiter's desk.
Great. This next question perhaps is, would be a good summary, and I think you've covered this, but so this question is basically goes like this: is this only possible in Facebook? Can we do a similar thing on LinkedIn, or what are the other social media sites where we can do a similar thing? And what we're referring to here is basically the ability to put a career tab, post jobs. That's the context of this question.
Okay, I think the two big social media platforms are really Facebook and LinkedIn. And when we talk about other social media sites, I'm not sure if we're talking about Google Plus or Twitter, etc. So at this point, what Shine and Shine MyParichay will do is ensure that you have a career tab on Facebook, and you can, through LinkedIn directly, purchase ability to have a page where you can post jobs on LinkedIn. And that's, again, you'll have to pay LinkedIn directly. But what we make sure through MyParichay is that the connections that exist for a candidate or an employee on Facebook or LinkedIn is being captured. So as I shared earlier, that MyParichay is a meta network approach. Doesn't matter where the candidate's connections are, or if you post a job, we will make sure that you have the ability to distribute it on Twitter and LinkedIn simultaneously. And the responses, wherever they are coming from, we will aggregate that for you. And as I shared on this, one of the screenshots, we actually share a report with you in terms of where the responses are coming from. So whether they're from Facebook share, Twitter share, LinkedIn share, etc. So the HR manager or the recruiter gets a weekly lead.
Great. I think we'll take this one last question before we end this session. So this last question is basically on searching for candidates. So is the search only limited to designation, or also by skills, organization, educational institutes?
The search is actually, let me share with you a couple of broad parameters that you can search on. And I think it's all the above that you mentioned. Let me share that on the screen. So we find from the advanced search basically has skills, designation, location, company, minimum experience, and school and college, and location. So these are the basic parameters that you see on the screen right now.
Great. Thanks, Ranjan. I think there's one last question. I think that's just popped up just now. How many people on Facebook today are mentioning their skills? I mean, I guess this is a
very good question. So right now, as I shared with you, MyParichay, we now have fairly detailed information on. At this point, we have about 14.7 million Facebook professionals who are in MyParichay. And based on the stats that I saw last week, about 56% of the people have shared their company name or their employer, past and present employer information, and their basic job titles. So, and that number is clearly trending up, especially the younger generation, the Gen Y generation. That number is much, much higher. So more and more folks are putting in, and again, applications like MyParichay will encourage people, because there is a full-fledged profile section here, very similar to what people are familiar with on LinkedIn. So more and more people, in fact, updating profile is one of the most utilized feature on MyParichay. And the other interesting part that if you have a profile on MyParichay, it tells you which other MyParichay Facebook users have come and looked at your profile. So that number is quite high, and when you look at close to 60 million people, 50, 60 million people in prime hiring age, even if half of them are now sharing some baseline professional information or more detailed information, including the resume. Large pool of people that can be tapped into.
Great. I think I'll stop here, Ranjan. Thanks for this very interesting insight into social recruitment and how employers can actually leverage social networks to amplify their talent acquisition using the power of Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn and the other networks that are available. This is actually a lot to cover in one session. So obviously, for those of you who are interested in learning how MyParichay and Shine.com can help you and your HR organization leverage this social recruitment solution, we'll be happy to set up a one-on-one session to help you discover this in further detail. And you can towards that you can write to me. You obviously have my email address. It's guru.myparichay.in. I'd like to thank the audience for your time and participation on this webinar. Do join us again next month for a third edition of this series of webinars on social recruitment and employee referral technologies. You'll hear from us with an invite to next month's webinar shortly, and what the topic and what areas we will cover towards the next session. Thanks, Ranjan. Thanks everybody for this time, and sorry for the inconvenience as we started this webinar out. Great. I think I'll leave you with this note, and hope you guys have a great day ahead.
Thank you, Guru.